I'm Shirley Phillips. I'm manager of the West Point Lighthouse. So we have the 9 rooms here and 1 room over at the wharf that we look after. The one at the wharf is efficiency suite, so it's self-contained, and it's good for bikers. There's a spot at the bottom of the stairway to bring your bikes in for the night. There's a lot of followers of lighthouses all over the world, and they love to sleep in a lighthouse. They want to be able to go out on the beach in the evening and see the sunset, or take pictures at night with the sun coming up, or the moon coming up over the wharf next door, and that's the kind of thing they're looking for. They don't want the high-tech kind of deal. They sit back with a book and relax. There's full moon coming up on the wharf, just a kilometre away, where we have the 28 fishermen going out every morning lobster fishing. If you're over there in the evening, catch that. They just appreciate the beauty of the wild beach kind of thing. Our lighthouse is a little different. It's black and white. Most of them on the island are red painted on them. It took about 2 years of letter writing back in the day to get permission to have a black and white lighthouse. The first lighthouse keeper, he did a lot of letter writing to try to get black and white instead of red. He thought that the red paint would not be distinguishable with the red sands. The most popular room is the tower room. It's the only room located directly in the tower of the lighthouse. It's on the 2nd floor, and the ceilings are 12 feet high. It's kind of designated as a honeymoon suite. The rest of the lighthouse, the 5 stories, are also set up as a museum. This is the parlor. The organ is the original one that our first lighthouse keeper had, so Frank McDonald's family. But there's some people that actually still do come in and play it for us, so it's kind of neat. Now this is the keeper's quarters. We rent this out, and this is where the family of the lighthouse keeper would have stayed every night. There's many lenses that they used to use. It just depends on the type of day. And there's supposed to be buried treasure here in West Point somewhere. And the Loch Ness Monster's cousin is here as well, but I haven't seen it. We open about the last week of May, and we'll close the first week of October unless we're having a really good warm fall, and then we'll probably stay open another week longer than that. This restaurant here, it's a family restaurant. It serves 72 seats at a time, and we have a craft shop run by a guild of local ladies. We have the campground next door to us here. It's the Cedar Dunes Provincial Campground, and they have a lot of sites that are right on the beach, so you couldn't get any better than that either if you're a camper. People that stay here are so unique that they just love the beach, and they love the fact that they're at a lighthouse.
Well, I'm Maurice Bernard. I'm an artist here in PEI. I've been living here most of my life. Lately I've been into sandcastles. It's kind of neat how building a sandcastle at the beach just brings up the excitement level. I've gotten to a point in life that I'm trying to do things that I really enjoy. And actually sandcastles, like it was always, I use that for my students quite a bit when as part of a teaching tool. You want to see how stairs are made?
Yeah.
You see how I go like this? And then I cut it down, and I cut across, and I cut it down, and I cut it across.
Yeah,
And I go straight down, straight across. Okay, you do that. We'll pat this down though so you can see. The adults, like the parents of the kids that I teach, tended to be more involved in it. They get more involved in it as it go on. And then cut it again. Just go cut straight down. Sometimes people come up to me and ask if I'm digging for clams. It's great fun because they're at the beach. when you can kind of have a day to remember. You know who those people are? They're fishermen. They're just standing on the wharf. I vacationed on the island. Like, my dad was in the forces, so wherever we lived, we spent summer here and in PEI, and then we spent summer on the beach. On the beach there in the summer, like, I'd always be doing this because we didn't have any electricity for the cottage, so there wasn't any distractions like TV or things like that, so my whole summer was spent on the beach.
So fast.
We'll go look for crabs later. If they want to decorate, they go for shells and seaweed, and when we make dragons and things like that.
Oh, that one has sand on it.
I work as an artist, do pastel portraits, and I do paintings, and it's mostly of Prince Edward Island, the landscape and the seascape, the places that I really have fallen in love with. Part of the reason I became an artist was probably through boredom. Having to entertain myself, I kind of got into sketching, and then there was a lot of old cars around, and then there was different abandoned buildings, still a lot of barns and things like that, so I would be sketching barns and sketching those old cars, and just got really into drawing quite a bit. And a lot of times, a lot of the big pictures I do are a lot of times like family vacations and things like that. So besides being nostalgic to me, because I have my son in a lot of them, my younger boy, they're very nostalgic to different people, because it'd be like a picture like Basin Head, where a lot of people have magic days there. So when they see that painting, it just brings them back to that place, and then there's so many people in these paintings. They actually can kind of put themselves in the painting, because there's little groupings of people all over the place. And then they say, a lot of people have come to me and said, oh, I was there that day, that's my little group. And that's our family over there. Who lives here? Is it Trek? Or is it a princess?
A princess.
Oh, okay. So this is her balcony.
Yeah.
The kids get bored and go off and play on the beach, and that some of the parents, especially the men, are still there working on it. And then the experience is usually never about the sandcastles, it's about the day. So sometimes we make fantastic sandcastles, and sometimes it's a big pile of dirt. Kind of like a magical day.
I would like to imagine that that's my name instead of Anne Shirley.
Okay.
Yes. It was lovely meeting you, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Welcome to Green Gables, Prince Edward Island National Park. Well, this is Green Gables. This is where I live with Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. They're very nice people. You should definitely come over and visit sometime. Marilla is such a wonderful cook. You know, she was trying to teach me to cook, but I assure you it is an uphill battle. Oh well, what else is in the village? Well, there's a lot of things actually. You know, there's a general store, and it's run by Miss Lawson and Miss Harris, and it has the most beautiful things in there. Well, speaking of the general store, and Miss Harris lives there. Well, she doesn't live there, she works there, I suppose. But Matthew, he, I believe, fancies her. So this is the path that leads to where the cow's pasture is, and this is where we like to take the cows to milk them. But you know, in my imagination, I like to imagine that this is Lover's Lane, and this is where lots of people would have came with their bows, and well, I would imagine that someday I would come down here with my bow. There is a family who came to Avonlea Village once, and their parents had named all of their children after characters of the novel of Anne of Green Gables. And so there is a Matthew, a Marilla, an Anne, a Diana, and there's also a Gilbert. This is the church where Alan Montgomery used to attend church services on Sunday when it was in New London. Now here is currently the home of the Montgomery Theatre, where in the evenings and afternoons in the summer you can come and watch some of the lovely plays that go on here. But you actually get to participate in a whole bunch of activities such as the county fair, where I have my first taste of ice cream, and we have potato sack races and egg and spoon and manure toss, and just lots of fun games. And we also perform skits from the novel, so we do reenactments of some of the scenes, such as when I first arrive in Avonlea Village and have a terrible tea with Diana and accidentally get her drunk. My first day of school, where I shatter a slate over Gilbert's head, and there's the final school concerts. And we also have music shows throughout the day. There's also a gospel show, and we have oyster shucking, you can try oysters, and we have square dancing, and it's just lovely, and you get to taste all sorts of chocolates, and there's also a restaurant right there, and the general store that has lots of beautiful things in there that you can buy. And you get to actually participate in the cow milking as well, and we have pig races in the afternoons. No, I love it when people come to visit Avonlea. It's so much nicer to have somebody else to talk to instead of the same old people every day, I suppose. And they bring so much more news from all around the world. I've met people from all the way from New Zealand. It was terribly exciting because, I mean, it's on the opposite side of the world completely, I would imagine.
My name is Perry Gottel. I live in Georgetown, Prince Edward Island. The name of my company is Tranquility Cove Adventures, and we run 5-hour tours out of Georgetown to an island 5 miles off the coast where we dig giant bar clams, cook them on the beach, deep sea fish, haul lobster trap, crab trap, and take in a seal watch, all on the same day in one trip. We'd love to see you come visit Prince Edward Island. At a half-day trip. It's 5.5 hours. We're going out 5 miles to a deserted island that used to be inhabited at one time, but now nobody lives there. My grandfather and my father were born and raised there, more or less. And we take them down there. There's burr clams that never come out of, the burrs never come out of the water. So in order to dig these burr clams, and they're giant clams, there's one right here. This here's the size of the clams, roughly. There's a lot bigger than this and smaller. But we get you in the water with the wetsuits on, the masks and snorkels, water socks, the hacks, and we show you how to dig the clams. Once we get a good pot of clams dug up, we go to the shore, we cook them. People go looking for sea glass, driftwood, stuff like that, and usually we see bald eagles there. There's all kinds of other kind of birds that they like to, the diving gannets that dive into the water, they hit the water 70 kilometers an hour. We're there for roughly 2 hours, and then we sail out about 3 miles over towards Palmier Island here, and we get people deep sea fishing. They're fishing for mackerel. We get high action rods. They're a lot of fun. They put up a real nice fight. We fillet the fish up for them, bag it up for them when they're leaving. On the way back in, we stop over here. There's a point that has a lot of seals on it. We show them seals. And then we haul a lobster trap and a crab trap for an educational purpose, a demonstration on how and what's in a lobster trap, what's in a crab trap, what they look like, things like that. I think it's one of the only trips offered that I know of anywhere that does so much in the one package. A lot of people will take you, show you seals, a lot of people will take you deep sea fishing, but I'm giving you the lobster trap, the crab trap, the seal watch, the deep sea fishing, the clam digging, the cookouts, and beachcombing all in the one package. And people really, really love it. I had people hugging me and saying how great it was, and I get a lot of emails, I got a lot of feedback coming back. It's really good, it really is.
We'll have a lot to talk about when we get home.
Absolutely wonderful.
What more could you ask for?
Loved it.
I always have been a part of it, and I actually, in my younger years, worked right in the surf with my chest waders on and helped harvest it and the whole process right through to the selling of it.
It was always intriguing for our guests that were looking at the lighthouse and come out on the shore and then want to talk to us. Can we please excuse us if we ask what you're doing here? Well, I said, we're simply gathering Irish moss. Well, what's that Irish moss used for? They always had that question. What do you do with it?
Well, when we told them they're eating it in ice cream, their eyes popped open and their chins dropped. They never realized that.
Yeah, they couldn't believe they were eating it. Hi, I'm Gilbert Gillis, and this is my wife, Goldie.
We're here doing an experience, and we call our experience Seaweed Secrets.
We just love meeting people and telling them all about the harvesting aspect of the moss, the fishing of the Irish moss, the history of how it all started. We have a marine biologist or botanist that comes and gives a wonderful presentation of the properties of all these sea plants.
Smell that. I want to hand that around and smell it. It is the only seaweed in the world that I've ever, and I've been all around the world, that has that kind of perfume. It's nice at this stage. As that plant dries, that plant will fill this whole big boat shed with the smell of that perfume as it dries. And after a while, it gets like really overpowering.
This all started around the year 1945. In fact, that was the year the old moss warehouse was built here on the tip of the Point Prim here. They didn't know what Irish moss looked like. They didn't know it existed on the shore hardly. And so the buyer took the fishermen out on the shore, and he picked up a big tassel or cluster of Irish moss off the shore, and he held it up and he showed it to the boys, and he says, "Boys, this is what we're looking for."
Basically 3 different methods of harvesting Irish moss, you know, on the island here. There's this way with the scoop and the fork and the whisk broom, and then there's by the horses. The horses tow a much larger net behind them, and they go out in the surf with the horses and pull it in. And then the third method is by raking metal rakes behind fishing boats.
Carrageenan is what they're looking for. And
as you know, ice cream is a big user of it, and a lot of food products. And not only that, it's used in making toothpaste, shaving cream, certain brands of beer,
paint
medicines, the paint industry, many, many uses.
An aftershave, and it's wonderful for your skin. It moisturizes your face, you know, after a shave.
I'm convinced that there's something very special and medicinal about this particular plant.
But Goldie has
Sort
gone
of
a step further.
and made a crumb crust and serve it as a pie.
Yeah.
You can do it as a pie, or you can do it as in a mold.
It's an old Gaelic or Scottish recipe that my mother inherited from my grandmother. And in the wintertime, we'd often have Irish moss blanc la mange pudding.
We've always been involved in tourism because we've always rented cottages. And now we have our beach house just down back there, and it's 4-star oceanfront.
One couple was from New Mexico, and the lady with that couple, she was so enthusiastic, she was taking notes. And she told the ladies behind the counter there at the Visitor Information Center that this was her best experience ever.
The best thing she's ever done on PEI.
Yeah.
So that was a good
Feedback.
pat on the back.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ryan Garrett. I'm the Pro Shop Manager at the Links of Crowbush Cove. Welcome to the Links of Crowbush Cove. We have 9 holes that run along the water, which is quite different from a lot of the other courses on PEI, and it's unique, so a lot of people enjoy that. Most of our visitors are from the Ontario area where they don't get a chance to see that, and it's a memory that they take back with them. Try and get people to get up to the 11th tee. It looks over the whole golf course, and you see up and down both sides of the beach. It's a great, great view. Another signature hole would be number 8, a long 3 over a pond, probably a carry of about 180. Last year we held the Legends of Golf, which included Mike Weir again and Vijay Singh. Good event. Crowbush opened in '93, and in '94 we were voted best new course in Canada. Since that time we've been in the top 10 in Canada, and just recently we've received number 8.
We've played 3 courses now on Prince Edward Island. This is a great track. It's tough, but it's a beautiful day today, nice and warm and sunny. Yesterday it was really breezy, so we didn't fare too well yesterday, but it's a lovely day today.
90+ rooms between the hotel and the cottages, so it's 5-star, 5 diamonds, the very, very nice hotel.
Hi, I'm Ken Mill. You're at the Myriad View Artisan Distillery in Rollo Bay, PEI. When we suggested to the people that we'd like to make moonshine, they said it's impossible, it's illegal. We've had a lot of feedback from other parts of the world. The big one is, you can't do that. Like, you got a great big sign out front. I've had one person come up to me. We have a vehicle that's marked up telling what our product is and saying right in the back, yep, it's PEI moonshine. And I've had, as I parked in a parking lot, someone come up to me and said, you're just begging to be arrested. And then, of course, explain to them the fact that no, it is legal in this province to produce it at a licensed distillery. The reasons we decided to go with shine is it's PEI's traditional drink. The key thing to a moonshine is unaged and made from the local products. The fact is it was illegal during Prohibition, so you didn't want to get caught with it. You obviously weren't going to put it in barrels and have it out in the barn because loose lips sink ships. So the product was made, the product was being able to be hid in a closet or underneath a bed, wherever it was, and consumed. Danny says this is the home of the moonshine confessionals. Anyone who's made shine here basically takes a 30-second look at our still and then starts to talk about the stories of batches that have gone great, batches that have gone wrong, things that have been smashed or blown up in the making of homemade shine. The house here on the property actually has a beam in the floor that is split. Back in the 40s, while sitting at supper, the still exploded downstairs. It's the traditional drink for weddings and family reunions and receptions. If you're having a party and some real good friends come over, everyone would always take out the little pint of shine and sort of show it off. The area is just rich with moonshining and bootlegging history. On this property, for instance, down in behind this Bear River, a small stream, and you can see where they've actually dug out the stream to divert it because that's where they had their cooling water. So the still was set up along the side of the stream.
They used to bury it in manure piles. They put it in warehouses that were hot, anywhere hot. And that would be it. A lot of times they would drink it well before it hit the still. That's the way she works.
People used to say, oh, I think the mash is ready, I think the mash is ready, right? And all of a sudden all the guys that get together and they go down to check the mash. Well, they never come up for supper. You go down there and everyone's, got their portion of it already gone and it never did see the still. So, and now that we're producing it, he doesn't have to go through the grief, the trouble, or worry about getting caught. So he's no longer going to make the moonshine for the family reunions. He comes up and buys our product for it. We thought it was an important part of the island tradition. You won't go anywhere else and find this product on the shelf. It's the one that we've done the longest. It's the one that we continue to serve. It's the ones that's nowhere else. The world is full of mediocre products as far as alcohols or foods or anything else goes. We wanted to do small batches of handmade, high-quality products and bring it to the consumers. So as you see here, we have our straight shine as single distilled, once through the still is what that means. It'll be a molasses spirit, so it's going to be molasses and cane sugars brought in from the Caribbean. It's called straight shine. Keep in mind that the word moonshine is illegal in print. Very few people actually pick up on it. In fact, we get quite a few that come in and say, so why is there a moon there? Because they're used to the local trade name of moonshine, which is shine. Once again, that's how we were able to use it. So here we have our straight lightning, which is our double distilled, unaged product. Once it's 75% alcohol by volume. This would be our straight vodka. Very crisp and clean product due to the fact of the true triple distillation. Our straight gin would take that triple distilled vodka and we'll pass it through a botanicals vessel which has all of our coriander, juniper berry, all our herbs and spices, and we let that alcohol vapor pass through there, pick up all our flavors and come back out to be what's known as a London dry gin. We do free tastings and tours on site, and we also do an experiential tour where you can come on site. You pay your fee, and within 2 hours we'll take you through the whole process of putting sugars in the fermentation tanks. We set it for fermenting. You help us actually run off a batch of shine, and you bottle and label and take home your own bottle of shine that you've actually bottled and labeled. He said, did you get an email from a guy from the States? I said, yeah. In their words, I quote, "This stuff is good enough to be sold out of the trunk of a car in a mason jar." He said, what do you think of that for a comment? I said, well, pretty happy with it.